That's interesting. H, obviously, is Harry Maguire, his captain, just to translate there, saying that the referee had told Harry Maguire he thought it was a penalty, but if he gave it, it would cause a lot of talk afterwards.
Well, he's not gave in, it's caused talk afterwards anyway, isn't it? So, look, I'm not sure. I know exactly what he's saying they were in mid-flow and attacking football. I'm not sure they were at the time. And he's saying if they stop it, then it should be given as a penalty. But I think the VAR have done the right thing. They've given him the option of going over to the screen. Look, we think it might be a penalty, but you need to go over and confirm that. I think that's the right thing to do. But clearly, we think it possibly should be a penalty. But he's been given the choice. He's still refereeing the game for me, which I think was the right thing in the end.
Yeah, I think that's a good example of how VAR should work. Yeah. It's still human out. It's still, you know, we can still have a go at the referee if we wanted to, or still agree with the referee, whatever you want. But VAR has absolutely done it. It was definitely right. I think it was Mr. Kavanagh on VAR duty. So I think he was absolutely right to send the referee to the monitor. So VAR has done all it can. Now it's just down to the referee to make his decision. And whether you think it's the right decision or wrong decision, VAR then backs away and says, right, it's down to you. So I think the system worked very well. Whether you agree with it or not, the decision that is, then that's open.
It's not too often we see a referee go against VAR, though, is it, in that instance?
No. And the only thing I agree with Luke Shaw there is when he said both teams didn't deserve to win the game, because he was spot on there. The other stuff where he talks about what the referee said to Harry Maguire, whether he did or didn't. In the heat of the game, refs say things and, you know, it can be misconstrued by the players. In terms of the penalty decisions, VAR did what it's supposed to do. There was a decision that the ref may have missed. He's had a look at it. His perception of the situation is it wasn't a penalty. It's done. You know, we don't want a robotic football. Referees decided, like you said, 50% of people might think it is, 50% of people might, but he's refereeing the game. He had the opportunity, he looked, he decided against it, and, you know, it's just annoying that we're talking about a decision, although there wasn't much else to talk about in the game. But you know, it's one of them things we're going to have to get used to.
And the other thing, from Manchester United fans' point of view, the referee didn't give it a normal time anyway. So you can't say, oh, if VAR hadn't have been here, we would have got a penalty. I mean, it wasn't going to get given anyway. It was only to backtrack to see if I'm making a clear and obvious mistake. And obviously, he thought not.
I think, sorry, Steve, I think if you did a VAR on every corner and you analysed you could possibly make an argument for loads of penalties. A little pull of a shirt here, a little nudge there. There's loads of little things, but, you know, it's just a tough one to keep talking about the ins and outs of whether the referees made the right decision. It is what it is.
I think if he'd have given it, we probably wouldn't have been talking about it that much, which goes against what he's probably told one of the players. I think if he give it, he said, yeah, it's probably right, it probably is a penalty, get on with it.
OK. He only had a minute to change his mind, unlike 45 minutes. Right? For Bridge, no goals. The one big talking point, certainly after 15 minutes, should Manchester United have had a penalty? Paul, you've seen it time and time again. You still adamant it is?
I think Dermot summed it at half-time. It's a modern-day penalty. His hand's up there where it probably shouldn't be. I understand what Joe was saying, that he's possibly trying to hold... I think is it Mason Greenwood off at some point, but look, it's a penalty for me.
Yeah, on second thoughts, it probably is. I tried my best to defend him. I tried my best to defend him, but we've gone through all of the rules and regulations. Is it deliberate? Is there intent? Modern day penalty. I think years ago, it's not even argued about. You see all the players coming out. They've obviously watched it at half-time, speaking to the referee, trying to put pressure on him.
What's that referee looking at there, Joe? He's looking at the screen. It's a clear...
Well, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had a conversation with the referee's assistants as he came out for the second half. That's the second big question, Michael. Once Stuart Atwell's had a look at the angles we've just seen, how does he come to the version that it isn't a penalty?
The only thing I can think is that, and I agree with, in many ways, is that it has to be a clear and obvious mistake. We don't want VAR re-refereeing our game on every decision. So if he's not convinced that I've made a clear and obvious mistake, he might think, well, yeah, it could be.
Do you think he had?
Well, at half-time, before Joe changed his mind, at half-time we had a split in this. I thought it was, I think a modern-day penalty is a great line, actually, because that's what I thought it was. But I don't think it's absolutely clear and obvious.
Yeah, that's also important, isn't it? In his mind, he has to think, I've got that wrong.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. And if he didn't think that, and I actually agree with him that it's not 100%, I've already looked at social media and half the people are saying yes and half the people are saying no, so that just proves that it's not clear and obvious. And if he's gone to the monitor and thought that's not clear and obvious, then he's absolutely right not to give the penalty. But I do think it is a penalty.
It's just clear and obvious mistake, and if it's just a little mistake, it's a mistake. So he's made a mistake. Clear and obvious, so what? It's a mistake, small mistake that he's made. But look back, look on the screen, like all those have done. Joe took a while, obviously, to come to the right decision, but eventually we got there.
OK, that's a former Manchester United player's view. Let's get a current one. Here's Luke Shaw.
There was a big talking point, a potential penalty. Were you aware what it was potentially for, or basically what was happening?
I don't know. I think at the time I saw a handball. I didn't know whether it was Mason or Callum. I just carried on. I didn't even know that there was a potential check. I don't know why they stopped it if, you know, it was a pen. If it's not going to be a pen, I don't think they needed to stop. The ref even said to H, I heard him say, if I say it's a pen, then it's going to cause a lot of talk about it after. So, you know, I don't know what happened there. H said that they got told it was a pen. He got told it was a pen by VAR, so I'm not sure
they
what's
asked the ref to go and look at it, and he stayed with his decision.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't understand why he stopped. If he's going to stop, I think maybe you would think he's going to give a pen, because we had the ball, we was attacking. So it's confusing with this VAR, because look, if it's not going to be a pen, and they might as well just carry on the game. They might as well not stop the flow of the game. But yeah, another one that I'm not going to moan about it, because, like I said, the game, you know, I don't think neither team did enough to win.
With the runaway leaders winning again, but they were made to work for it at home to West Ham. West Brom beating Brighton, Villa winning at Leeds, and 1-1 between Newcastle and Wolves. Today, another point and clean sheet for Fulham. Defeat for Leicester at home to Arsenal, and for Burnley by 4-0 at Spurs, but no goals at Stamford Bridge. And next, we're going to watch the champions, who have lost their last 4 league games away at the bottom club, Sheffield United, and of course the match week rounds off. The Monday Night Football is from Goodison Park, Everton against Southampton. So at the top, Manchester City's lead is 12 points. United couldn't cut it again to 10, but United are a point ahead of Leicester, who were beaten today. Then come West Ham, who remain in those Champions League places. A Chelsea win would have dislodged them, but they are a point clear of Thomas Tuchel's team. As you can see, Liverpool can go within a point of Chelsea and within 2 of West Ham if they beat Sheffield United next. And indeed, Everton can as well if they beat Southampton on Monday. So Fulham's point takes them to 23, 3 behind Newcastle and Brighton. And Burnley still might be nervously just looking over their shoulder. Their gap is 5 points to Scott Parker's side.